Welcome, everybody. Let us start by standing, if you're able, to sing our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Just the first three verses. Well, greetings and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Sarasota and Lakewood Ranch, to all here present, to our Lakewood Ranch fellows, and anyone who is live streaming us on our YouTube channel. I am Catherine Bonner. I'm the Director of Religious Education here at the church, and our Senior Interim Minister, Doug Watkins, is out of the pulpit today, so I will be joined by two of our church leaders. Sharon Howard, who heads up our Social Justice Committee, and Nina Tortelli, who heads up our Racial Justice Coordinating Team. Also with us today are Don Brin, our fabulous pianist, Paul Lewis, our song leader, and of course 3 members of our invaluable multimedia committee, Klaus, Doug, and I can't tell if that Shell's back there. I would also like to welcome our guest musician today, Fernando Traba. Thank you, yes. Welcome back, actually. Fernando is the current principal bassoonist with the Sarasota Orchestra. His first and only teacher growing up was his father. Please pronounce your father's name. Timoteo Traba, thank you, who was also the principal bassoonist for the National Opera Orchestra in Mexico City. Fernando came to the U.S. in 1981 to pursue his Bachelor and Master of Music degrees at the Cleveland Institute of Music. He moved to Sarasota in 1992 and became a close friend of the late Charles Robert Reinert, a respected bassoonist and voice teacher. Besides being one of the best bassoon players in the U.S., Fernando also has the distinction of being married to Betsy Hudson Traba, the orchestra's principal flute player, and a great friend of our church and frequent contributor to our music offerings. Welcome, Fernando. We really look forward to hearing you play today. So, a special welcome to any of our guests here today. You may have noticed on our homepage, and if you haven't been there, I encourage you to do that there's a special banner marked at the top specifically for you that says Welcome Visitors. Shocking, I know. Anyway, we invite you to check it out and consider registering on our virtual guest book so that we can send you our weekly newsletter and the Zoom link for very specific events that we have online. If you're not quite ready to sign up but want to attend a Zoom meeting, you can get the link by contacting our office via email. You will also notice on our homepage a donate button. Please use this button or the link found in the YouTube channel in the description section below this video to make a donation. Your support is needed and appreciated so that we can maintain our facilities and continue the good work of this church. Lastly, there will be a coffee hour after the service held in the courtyard here. I encourage visitors to stop by our welcome table for more information about our faith and our church, or track me down if you have any other questions after the service. And now we have a few special announcements. Karen, would you like to come up?
Yep, it's me again. Another reminder. Fantastic auction. April 10th, after the service, lunch, and then bidding. To date, we have about 35 donations, some terrific ones, For us to have as much fun as we want to have next year, this coming year, we need about 3 times that many. We need about 100 items in the auction. So let me give you some ideas about what you could donate. Just about anything you can think of can be donated as long as it's legal. It might be your best homemade cake, teaching someone a new art or a pastime of some sort, going to a minor league baseball game, or going on a bike ride on the Legacy Trail. We have a long list of ideas at our table, so please come visit us today. We'll help you develop your idea. Last, we have a special treat today. We have 3 sets of tickets for performances that occur before the auction, so we're going to auction them off in a mini live auction today. You have an insert that looks like this in the order of service, about 2 sets of the tickets. A 3rd one came in afterwards, and we'll tell you about that during the mini auction today. So if you think you'll be interested in some tickets, just stay in the sanctuary today when the service ends, and our fabulous own phenomenal auctioneer, Rick Sandler, will be filling you in about the 3rd set of tickets, which is for theater in Venice. And he will be auctioning them off. It'll be quick and easy and fun, so stay if you're at all interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. And I believe Joan Bennett also has a special announcement.
Hello, I'm Joan Bennett, and I'm on the Stewardship Committee. Did you ever wonder exactly what a Stewardship Committee does, or how one becomes involved? One needs to be committed to the ongoing continuation and growth of our church, but that's all of us. I'm going to sound like a recruiter here, and in fact, I spent many years of my life being a recruiter. So we look for creativity. We brainstorm, we come up with a theme, we write notes for weekly contact, we plan how to tell our story, organizational skills, we work with deadlines, we sort out all the duties involved, we make timetables, willingness to work hard, we commit to lots of meetings, and let's face it folks, stuffing envelopes with pledge cards is no fun. Chutzpah. Last but not least, we are willing, able, and even like asking you for money. Well, that may be stretching it a little bit, but that's why I'm standing here today. Our committee is very, very pleased that 2/3 of our church goal has been pledged already. But we have, yes. I think that's what I thought. But we have determined that we won't stop asking you. Our new church budget is tightly, very tightly laid out. There's no padding, there's no boondoggles. Look at us today. We're here together with each other, even though our smiles are still hidden. We will soon have live meetings on our church campus of groups and organizations. The quality of campus Wi-Fi is being enhanced. And already through the course of the pandemic, we have learned that we can stay in touch with those at home, those away, and with our snowbirds when they're not here during the year. But we all need to dig a little bit deeper and pledge all we can. If you've already pledged, we're very happy to accept a new and better offer. If you've delayed making your pledge, do it now. Try to increase what you've pledged in the past. Get it off your to-do list. Then our committee will happily leave you alone and quietly go away. You might even get a stewardship committee job offer next year. Many of you know me from the recruiting that I did for many years for our flea market. Remember them? I would really, really like to go back to asking you for old artwork, mismatched glasses, and the Instant Pot that's still in the box. But until that time comes, Our pledges will keep this church thriving, and we will carry on together. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. And now let us enter into the worship part of our service with our prelude.
In these days of difficulty, we Americans everywhere must and shall choose the path of social justice, the path of faith, the path of hope, and the path of love towards our fellow man.
Yeah, you see the rest of that.
Here we go.
Oh, in that part.
Inspiring words from Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We light this chalice for all our principles, but especially for the second and sixth principle. We affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, and the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you, Sharon. And thank you, Nora, for lighting our chalice today. So you may have noticed the butterflies hanging from the screen today. And while that's here to emphasize, of course, my sermon topic, the butterfly effect, it actually is in solidarity with a social action program that the children have been participating in, and some of our other congregational members have also supported us by making butterflies. So normally during the Time for All Ages, I tell you a story that has some relevance to our topic today. But today, instead of telling the story, I'm going to let children, via a video, tell the story. I wish it were our own children, but spring break is here and it's cold outside, so many of them have already left the area. So anyway, enjoy this very short video on the butterfly effect.
Hello, this is a letter to the kids still being detained at the borders.
We want you to know that you do have friends in America and you do have people that love and care about you.
Over the past year, kids and families across the world have made over 55,000 butterflies to make sure that you're not forgotten. Escogimos a las mariposas porque simbolizan la belleza de la migración y representan la esperanza, el amor y la amistad.
Now, more than ever,
During this time of COVID,
we know how important it is that you are with your families.
Protegidos, sanos y libres. Seguimos luchando por ustedes.
Don't wait.
the time is now.
Call your elected officials.
Keep the conversation going. Take a stand for migrant kids. We are still fighting for you.
Was actually started by two of those young girls there about a couple of years ago, and it is to help bring emphasis and highlight to the caging of children and the separation of families at the border. And actually our Unitarian Universalist Service Committee has a piece out there, if you will go to their website, to remove, I think it is section 42 of the code, which is about immigration. So thank you very much. So thank you to our children for their butterfly effort. Miss Mary Lou is going to take any young people that we have right now to learn some more. And as our children depart, let us now contemplate the message that the children on the video have shared with us as we listen to Fernando. with these words from SRW poetry, followed by a period of centering in silence and then centering in song. The poem. You need to stay, and you need to stay loudly. You're afraid of making bad choices, but the truth is this: the tiniest action will influence the course of the rest of your life, and you cannot control it. So many factors play a part in your being here today. A delay in the traffic, an extra cup of tea, the number of seconds you took to cross the parking lot. This is chaos theory. Sensitivity, mathematics, you are here. And every choice you have ever made has led you to right now. While you exist, every movement and moment matters. Those bad choices led you to the best days of your life, if you were to play it in rewind, so let them go. Change will come, even if you're standing still. Butterflies will keep flapping their wings and causing hurricanes. So make your choices and make them loud. Trust your gut, trust energy, and if you cease to exist, oh, the universe would notice the mess that would make, the hearts that would break. So just stay. Stay for bad choices, stay for great ones. Stay, cause a few hurricanes. The reading this morning is from the book by Ta-Nehisi Coates, Between the World and Me. Perhaps there has been at some point in history some great power whose elevation was exempt from the violent exploitation of other human bodies. If there has been, I have yet to discover it. But this banality of violence can never excuse America, because America makes no claim to the banal. America believes itself exceptional, the greatest, the noblest nation ever to exist, a lone champion standing between the white city of democracy and the terrorists, despots, barbarians, and other enemies of civilization. One cannot at once claim to be superhuman and then plead mortal error. I propose to take our countrymen's claims of American exceptionalism seriously, which is to say, I propose subjecting our country to an exceptional moral standard. This is difficult because there exists all around us an apparatus urging us to accept American innocence at face value and not to inquire too much. And it is so easy to look away and live with the fruits of our history and to ignore the great evil done in all of our names. Thank you, Fernando, for that lively piece. I thought of butterflies as I was listening. Thank you so much. So, the butterfly effect. In chaos theory, it's the belief that one small action, such as a butterfly flapping its wings, can make a difference in its localized surroundings that compounds to both big and small differences in the world farther afield. So when I started to think about this month's theme of renewing faith, the first thing that I thought about of our faith, Unitarian Universalism, is that it is steeped in the butterfly effect. Our very principles ask us to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, acceptance of one another, and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all, and the respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Well, when I considered those principles, only two directly relate to our congregations, and the balance are either outward or interpreted to be outward, looking at our greater community. And our traditions from both our Unitarian and our Universalist beginnings have long worked for social justice, living out a legacy of deeds and not creeds. A few examples. Unitarian Henry David Thoreau's treatise on civil disobedience outlined a rationale for resistance to a corrupt state, a rationale that profoundly influenced figures such as Gandhi and Martin Luther King and others who sought nonviolent response to governmental oppression. Many Unitarians and Universalists worked to abolish slavery. Samuel Gridley Howe, a Unitarian, a physician, and an abolitionist, was also an advocate for the education for the blind and set up the Perkins Institute in 1829, the first school for the blind in America. Charles Spear, a Universalist minister and also an abolitionist, founded the first Universalist anti-slavery convention in 1841 and became a vocal advocate for the abolishment of the death penalty, because of his observation that this was really just a legal instrument whose real purpose was to terrorize slaves and to enforce slavery. He called for prison reforms to improve living conditions. Dorothea Dix, a Unitarian, fought to break the chains of people incarcerated in mental hospitals. In 1848, she was successful in her lobbying of the federal government to grant more than 12 million acres of public land as a public endowment to be used for the benefit of mentally ill, as well as the blind and the deaf. Unfortunately, the approved bill was vetoed by the president at that time. Just think of what we would have today. Clara Barton, a Universalist, a teacher, and a self-taught nurse, became famous during the Civil War for her compassion and skill in running Army hospitals. She became the founder of the American Red Cross in 1881, an organization to bring relief to civilians during war and disasters. Olympia Brown, the first ordained female Universalist minister, joined Susan B. Anthony, a Unitarian, as an activist for women's equal rights and the women's right to vote from the late 1860s to her death in 1926. Unitarian minister Waitstill Sharp and his wife Martha helped establish the Unitarian Service Committee in 1941, a humanitarian service organization to help both in America and abroad. Well, during World War II, it helped hundreds of displaced persons in occupied countries and helped to find passage to the United States. I'm happy to say 80 years later, this organization, now known as the UUSC, or Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, is still going strong in advancing human rights, social justice, and aid around the world, including now gathering funds to help vetted humanitarian organizations that are located in the Ukraine. Well, the newly formed UUA had many activists that marched and fought for civil rights during the 1960s. Two of their activists, Reverend James Reed and Viola Liuzzo, were killed for their support of this movement. Our faith has been active in the women's movement, the environmental movement, the movement for LGBTQ rights, the movement to protect the rights and honor of our indigenous peoples, the Black Lives Matter movement, and so many more. Where there has been a need to reform and to promote justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, we have been there. Perhaps in smaller numbers than other groups, but super persistent about getting the work done. So, from the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, our UUA affiliate, to the UUA Side with Love, a public advocacy campaign that seeks to harness love's power to stop oppression in our communities, to the state social justice organizations like UU Justice Florida, who works with members of 44 UU congregations here to push our Florida legislature to promote justice, equity, and compassion in public policy. We are there. And our congregation is no slouch either. For the past 60 years, we have been active in our communities, volunteering and advocating to help strengthen the lives of people who don't have power or a voice. Our Social Justice Committee, currently led by Sharon Howard, is currently involved in providing emergency funds for public housing families who need short-term rental and utility assistance, providing rental assistance and furnishings for a family in one of our public housing transition homes, working with All Faiths Food Bank and their backpack program that sends home backpacks of food to children during times when the schools are not open, and providing funds through our Share the Plate programs for local nonprofits on a variety of community needs, and so much more. In the spring of 2021, our church established a social advocacy group led by Pat Allen that has written numerous letters to the paper about social justice issues and has met with city, police, and sheriff administrators on policing policies and advocating for the body cameras for all law enforcement officers. In the spring of 2020, our church established the Racial Justice Coordinating Team led by Nina Tortelli. We're now in year 3, and we have established 16 priorities, including supporting racial justice education like our reading group conversations and the upcoming Howard Thurman seminar. Support of African American and minority-owned businesses. We'll be selling Side with Love shirts with our logo on the back, and those are all done through a minority-owned business. Support of Newtown initiatives, such as the newly established Sarasota Museum of African American History and Culture. Supporting the Embracing Our Differences exhibit, which we have sponsored an exhibit, which I think won an award. Nina, was that true? For our poster? I think so. If not, it should be. So, also fostering connections with Newtown, making connections with other UU social justice groups, either locally and nationally. A lot on our plate. We have marched here locally with our Jewish and other friends to unite against hate. We have rallied to protest for LGBTQ rights, gun control, fair wages for farm workers, and Black Lives Matter. We have advocated for environmental protection, conservation, and supported environmental groups, and to act green. We have supported voting rights for all. And so many of our church members have volunteered their times in big ways and small with nonprofit groups throughout Sarasota and Manatee counties. And we have been there, and we should be proud. For centuries, Unitarian Universalists have been the butterflies creating change around the world. We have been the butterflies promoting the inherent worth and dignity and acceptance of all, creating justice, equity, and compassion in our communities at large, and have worked towards peace in the world. Yet, our focus has been so much towards the outside that either we, as faithful UUs, have not spent the time, or perhaps been called to look introspectively to see whether we are truly living those values in ourselves and our congregations. Our faith has fought for the abolition of slavery and the equal treatment of all, yet we have not given our ministers, our staff, and our parishioners of color the equal footing as those who are white. Our faith has fought for the women's rights and autonomy of their bodies, the ability to vote, to pursue their interests and get equal pay. Yet, there too, our faith has fallen short in valuing our female ministers, staff, and parishioners. So these struggles are not just for Unitarian Universalists. All faiths are struggling with this, and we're not unknown to these struggles even within our faith. Since 1970 and the grievous exodus of so many of our African American UUs, there have been multiple studies within the UUA around these struggles. The most recent of these was the Commission on the Institutional Change that came into being at the 2017 General Assembly. This commission was charged with conducting an audit of white privilege and the structure of power within our faith. After 3 years, they produced their report, The Widening of the Circle, which you heard about 2 weeks ago. Well, it just so happens at the same time, two very active UUs in racial and social justice, Paula Cole-Jones and Bruce Pollock Johnson, saw that while our faith has made efforts towards becoming an anti-racist, anti-oppression, multicultural organization, there still existed two paradigms in UU circles: the 7 principles and beloved community, which is a deep multiculturalism. They realized that an 8th principle was needed to correct this. And so, with the input of anti-racist activists in their district, they created the 8th principle that was presented to the UUA board in 2017 and introduced at the 2017 General Assembly. Next week, you'll learn more about our principles and how we got them and how we periodically review them, and that they are currently under review, but that's for next week. Now is the time for a confession. I want to confess that I knew nothing about the 8th principle until I started working with the racial justice team. And like many of you, my first reaction was, what? Why do we need an 8th principle? And then I saw it. Boom. And I read it. And my immediate reaction was, that is way too wordy. And it doesn't really fit with the other principles, in the way that it's structured. I mostly get what they're trying to say, and I agree. We need to do anti-oppression work. But couldn't anti-oppression work really kind of sort of be the same as justice and equity that we have in our 2nd principle? To be honest, I wasn't sure I was the right person to sit on this racial justice team if the adoption of the 8th principle was our first task. Fortunately, my racial justice team members gave me grace and helped me to understand that my gut reactions and the need to instantly wordsmith are deeply embedded in white cultural characteristics. What's wrong with that? I thought. Shouldn't we all conform to the same language standards? This is ridiculous. But I wanted to be part of this racial justice team because I wanted to do good works too. So I looked at the 8th principle and I reflected on each section and what it meant. I wanted spiritual wholeness. Check. I wanted a diverse, multicultural, beloved community. Check. I want to dismantle racism and be held accountable, because if you're not held accountable, it is way too easy to let it slide. Check, check. But the real kicker was dismantling racism and other oppressions in myself and our institutions. But I'm not racist. What does that mean? So I embarked on a racial justice education journey to find out. I started to read and reflect on whether I, too, had been oblivious as a good white person to being oppressive in my own actions, thoughts, and language. Check. or supportive of oppressive systems of injustice because I personally had not spoken up when I had seen injustice either on the micro or the macro level. Check, check. I now understand that the wording of the 8th principle by people who have been marginalized has great meaning to them. And is it right for me to question that because it doesn't meet some arbitrary standard that we've been raised with? The book Waking Up White by Debbie Irving really hit home because it made me realize I am a white savior. I'd been trained morally and socially to always follow the golden rule. You know the one, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But I now realize that puts me at the center. Do what I want for me, not what somebody else would like to have. So now I follow the platinum rule. Do unto others as they would have you do unto them. I've learned that I've inadvertently and probably innocently done or said things to others that have marginalized them or made them feel less welcome. Things that have been part of this white culture that I've always considered polite, like asking a person where they went to school with the underlying assumption that college was school. Well, for those of us who are Unitarians, most of us went to college, so this seems pretty innocuous, right? But for those who haven't been to college, either consciously or subconsciously, that has made them feel lesser than and or uncomfortable. The subtle message is that a college degree or experience is normal or needed to be here. So what is even the purpose of asking that question? If it is to find common experience so that we have something to build a relationship on, couldn't we instead ask what a person's interests are and let them tell us? Because you know what? Most people are passionate about something. And if their passion is not your cup of tea, you might know somebody who does, and you could introduce them. How about that for a win-win in building a diverse, beloved community? I have learned that my success in my career can easily be linked back to my grandfather and my uncles taking advantage of the benefits of the GI Bill, which allowed them to go to college, to earn higher incomes, to buy a home at a lower interest rate, and then to have that wealth shared with my parents so that they too went to college and were able to buy a home at a low interest rate. And they too were able to share that wealth with me so I could go to college and buy a home. And I think you get the gist. But I now know that veterans of color who fought and should have received the same benefits were not, due to the racism embedded in the way that the bill was implemented. Systemic racism is real throughout all our laws, our policies, our procedures, and our implementations in our governments, our businesses, and in most organizations. I am now one of the woke that our governor is trying to quash, but I'd rather be woke than in denial. So, my challenge to you is join me in hearing the call to action that is in the proposed 8th principle. First, look inward at ourselves and whether we unconsciously perpetuate oppressions in our world. Get educated on what white culture has indoctrinated in all of us. Start making lasting and meaningful social change in our world to meet our goal of world peace by starting with yourself. Your small changes can be the butterfly that creates a hurricane. We will now have our offering. And for those online, I encourage you to use the link in the description box below the video to share your gifts in support of our work here that we do at the church. During our offering, we'll be watching and listening to the choir of the First Unitarian Congregational Society in Brooklyn sing "We Will Not Stop Singing" by the Chapin Sisters. This may not be a familiar song, but you will soon catch on, and I encourage you to sing or hum along. Let the reverberations within each of us build in our sanctuary and pour out into the world at large. We will now take our offering.
We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching. We will not stop marching till the world can hear the song, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying. We will not stop praying till we all can get along, till the world can sing our song. We will not stop shouting. We will not stop shouting. We will not stop shouting, shouting right from wrong, till the world can sing our song. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing till the world can hear our song, till the world can sing along.
As I extinguish the chalice, remember these words. Change will come, even if you're standing still. Butterflies will keep flapping their wings and causing hurricanes. So make your choices and make them loud. Trust your gut. Trust your energy. Cause a few hurricanes. While this ends our worship service, for those who are interested in bidding on the orchestra and theater tickets, please make your way up to the front here of the sanctuary. And for those interested in making butterflies to support our children's project, please grab a coffee, grab a friend, and come to our workshop table in the courtyard. Namaste.